41 Action News starts now.
A winter storm watch is in effect in about 24 hours, a little bit less. This could be the scene right here in Kansas City. Chief Meteorologist Gary Lezak tracking it all for us. Gary, has anything changed since we last were here?
Yeah, the new data has come in and it's a little bit different. We're going to go over the details. At the same time, we have some consistency as well. Look at the first thing. The first ingredient for the storm is cold air. It's been pretty mild. In fact, we set a record today. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes, but we did break a record high temperature for the day. It's 32 in St. Joseph, 30 in Omaha, 30 degrees in Lincoln, 30 in Grand Island. So cold air is moving south, but the warmer air down to the south is in the 50s, and there's going to be a front lining up that's going to stall. So it's going to be a complicating factor for sure. Here's the winter storm watch from Chicago to Kansas City. So we are in the watch beginning tomorrow night, right around sunset through Saturday. Rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow, and possible thunderstorms with this cold blast coming in. Between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m., though, just periods of heavy rain and wet roads. We're not expecting the problems to begin until late tomorrow afternoon or evening. We'll talk about that coming up and the snowfall amounts.
All right, Gary, staying tuned for that. Both KDOT and MoDOT crews prepped the plows today. KDOT plans to use a new simple feature on its plows. During our last winter storm, 3 people crashed into that right wing. So now there's a lit up flashing flag to warn drivers. You're encouraged not to pass the plow. Both crews plan to monitor this weekend's storms, but they'll wait to treat the roads.
We'll let it rain, and as it begins to transition into freezing rain, then we'll go full bore. We'll start putting down rock salt, and we'll start with our bridges and overpasses, then we'll hit our mainline roads.
If you take the bus on the weekends, there's a chance the weather will suspend some services. You can track your route and get updates online. We have a link at kshb.com/weblinks. If the temperatures dip below 10 degrees, Ride KC will also provide a warming bus at 10th and Main. You can get real-time weather alerts for your neighborhood on our free Storm Shield app. It also lets you check Gary's latest forecast, the newest data. It'll also have an hour-by-hour breakdown for you, too. New at 10, a packed house as teachers in the Shawnee Mission School District debate a labor dispute. Teachers want to see certain salary increases that the district says it can't afford. 41 Action News reporter Tom Dempsey attended the meeting and explains where things stand.
Well, Dia, tonight's meeting lasted around 3.5 hours inside the Shawnee Mission School District building behind me. This dispute is still going on, and tonight's meeting took place in front of a state-assigned fact finder.
I would like to thank the teachers and all certified staff.
On Thursday night, a labor dispute already lasting several months once again took center stage.
I will say that morale in this district is the lowest it's ever been. They need to come to a solution.
A debate all revolving around almost $10 million extra for the Shawnee Mission School District from the revised Kansas school funding formula. Teachers hoping for bigger growths in salaries as instructors deal with larger class sizes and an extra hour of teaching.
I have a planned time 4 or 5 days a week, and I have on average roughly 14 seconds per student during my planned time.
Teachers and their supporters united in red on Thursday night as their union in the district argued points in front of a state-assigned fact finder. With the local teachers earning some of the highest average salaries in the state, the district says it just can't afford the increases teachers want, with expenses piling up.
We have written into the contract for transportation a 3% increase. We have increase in utilities costs. We have new staff that we've hired. We have increases in health insurance costs.
The debate over salaries now held up over small percentage points, but teachers arguing the district can do even more to help them.
It needs to grow because the cost of living in Johnson County is going up.
A labor dispute continuing to stretch on, with both sides hoping it ends soon.
It needs to be done. We need to get through so that we can get back to focusing on kids and their education.
Now, what to expect moving forward? Well, sometime next week, that state-assigned fact finder will issue a report on his findings here tonight. Then more negotiating between both sides. If a deal can't be reached by both sides, the Shawnee Mission Board of Education will make the final decision on the contract. Live in Overland Park, I'm Tom Dempsey, 41 Action News.
Video surveillance helped catch a suspect in a deadly shooting. 25-year-old Darren Hamilton faces charges in the death of Earl Finch III. He was shot and killed Sunday near Walrand Avenue and East 49th Street. Hamilton is charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. The shooting marked the first homicide in Kansas City in 2020. An Overland Park mother wants more transparency from police departments after losing her son in an officer-involved shooting. Sheila Alber's son was shot and killed during a welfare check when the 17-year-old backed the van out of their garage. Now she's working with Kansas State Representative David Benson on a new bill. It has three components: a policy, an investigation by an outside agency, and a release of the record once there's a decision of no prosecution.
What could we do legally to assure that families who experience police shootings have closure, that they understand every element of what happened?
Across the state line in Missouri, once an officer-involved shooting case is declined for prosecution, it's considered a closed case. The investigative case file then becomes open record. It's a story you'll only see here. The acquittal of a man charged with a double murder of a Wyandotte County woman and her unborn baby. It's now raising some questions about how that criminal case was handled. Many of the questions being asked by the victim's family, who spoke only to 41 Action News' Ariel Rothfield for the first time today.
Hey everybody, I want to share with you some information about the murder trial of Jocelyn Ybarra and her unborn child.
It's a video posted on Twitter that former KCK Chief of Police Terry Ziegler did not hold back in.
This is truly a tragedy of justice. And it's one that infuriates me a whole lot because I feel like the victims in Wyandotte County are getting a raw deal.
In June 2018, someone shot and killed Jocelyn Ybarra in her car near this KCK neighborhood. She was 12 weeks pregnant.
It's been hard. It's nonstop.
Police arrested two individuals, Alora Mendoza, who pled guilty to second-degree murder, and Nicholas McGee, whose trial in Wyandotte County ended in an acquittal on Wednesday.
Unfortunately, Deputy District Attorney Daryl Smith did a horrible job in prosecuting this case. Did such a poor job that the jury had no other alternative but to acquit Nicholas McGee of the murder charge.
Following this video, 41 Action News started asking questions. In a statement, a spokesperson with the Wyandotte County District Attorney's Office said there was no gun, no DNA connecting this defendant, no fingerprints, and no eyewitness identification. While this office is saddened the jury did not find proof beyond a reasonable doubt for this defendant, there was a conviction of second-degree murder for both victims of the senseless crime.
She thinks they could have done more.
Both Jocelyn's mother and sister have been heartbroken.
We sit here all the time thinking she's gonna come up to the house, and she's not. We have to go to the cemetery every day and go visit her thinking that she's gonna show up. We're tired.
And they feel like they're now stuck in the middle with more questions than answers.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a prosecutor. I'm not even saying that they didn't do their job. I mean, I'm just saying there was more questions that needed to be asked.
Questions they hope will eventually be answered as they continue to grieve and remember.
That was her biggest dream, to be a mother. And you guys took her life. You guys didn't give her the opportunity to give her the opportunity to have her kid.
Alora Mendoza, who pled guilty to second-degree murder, testified against Mendoza. She was sentenced to 11 years in prison. As we mentioned, a jury acquitted Mendoza, which means he is free and can never be charged with murder for this crime again. Reporting in the studio, Ariel Rothfield, 41 Action News.
A rocky commute leaves one woman wanting some answers from the city. Jeannie Knaps takes the bus from Blue Springs to Union Station for work. But when she goes to cross the street, she's met with this deteriorating curb.
Now it's basically even with the regular curb, so I have to bounce down off of it to get onto Pershing, to even cross Pershing. It's been over 2 years now, and nothing's been done about either issue.
41 Action News reached out to the city about Knapp's issues. A spokeswoman told us they conducted a site visit and determined the scope of the repair work, but it's going to take a special contractor because the ramps and curbs are on a bridge deck. The city does hope to have it fixed in the coming months. New video tonight as the city goes red for those Kansas City Chiefs. Union Station decked out in red as we prepare for Red Friday and the Chiefs' home playoff game against Houston. Earlier today, we got a view of the field for Sunday's game, and it'll take people back to the good old days. The grounds crew painted the end zones yellow. It's a throwback to the look of Kansas City Municipal Stadium from the 60s and 70s. According to the Chiefs, the end zones have not been yellow since the early 1990s when the Chiefs played on turf. If you're planning on going to the game Sunday, parking lot gates open around 9 in the morning. Stadium gates open at noon. Then kickoff is set for a few minutes after 2. For one Chiefs player, Sunday's game is truly special. Mike Pennell is a defensive tackle for the Chiefs. He's always been a Chiefs fan from the time he grew up. But his battle to get in the uniform isn't even close to a battle he overcame off the field. Join us tomorrow night at 6:30 for our special Road to Miami show for more on Mike's story and how other players are preparing for Sunday's big game. Gary, this game is bringing a lot of folks to town right as the winter weather is moving in.
And now there's actually a chance of some snow on Sunday. Unbelievable. I'll show you that to you in a second. We set a record. The old record, 64 in 1902, was 66 degrees the day. And then this is Saturday's forecast. What about that Chiefs forecast? How much snow? Freezing rain, sleet, a lot to go over next.
A dirty dilemma. Why millions of gallons of raw sewage is expected to fill the Missouri River for months. And there's a good chance your kids love to play video games. We'll tell you about the new tool, keeping them safe from potential predators.
You're watching 41 Action News.
300 million gallons of raw sewage is floating downstream in the Missouri River. A wastewater treatment plant in Nebraska has been out of commission after severe flooding in March. The group Environment America wants leaders to test more sites along the river. We're told that could take at least 5 months to get the wastewater plant back up and running. In a consumer alert tonight, you may want to check your medicine cabinet. The Food and Drug Administration is recalling several more lots of heartburn medication, all because it may contain a substance linked to cancer. The recall covers ranitidine. It's the generic version of Zantac. You'll want to stop using the 150 and 300 milligram tablets with an expiration date of April or May 2021. Another important safety warning tonight. The Consumer Product Safety Commission wants you to stay away from this dresser. It's the Hodida 4-drawer dresser, and it's sold online through Amazon, Home Depot, Sears, and Walmart. The commission asked the company to recall the dresser because of, quote, serious tip-over and entrapment hazards. But so far, no recall. The Consumer Product Safety Commission cannot force a company to issue a recall. It also is a risk for lawsuits if a manufacturer doesn't agree to how and when that recall is released. But a new bill hopes to change that. Today, a representative from Illinois introduced the Share Information Act in Congress. It changes a current law called Section B6. It's a law that local agencies are already battling.
When the Consumer Product Safety Commission gets a complaint or 2 or 5 or a reported death about a consumer product, they are mandated by this law to contact the manufacturer and give them a 15-day period to respond, which oftentimes might become a 6-month period through legal action, etc. And in the meanwhile, kids die.
According to Consumer Reports, the new law would allow the commission to share the information without risking a lawsuit. Several safety organizations are backing that bill. New technology could detect online predators who try to groom kids on video game chats. Microsoft announced that it's sharing the tool with nonprofit organizations and other gaming and messaging service developers. It automatically scans text-based conversations and flags potential predators. Human moderators can then review those flagged conversations and even report them to law enforcement. New at 10, meet the newest Kansas City police officers. Tonight, 29 people graduated from the academy after 7 months of training.
It's really exciting to get to work the streets of Kansas City, get to learn the people and the citizens and protect them every day.
Look at that smile. This group is set to hit the streets with their field training officers on Sunday.
Now, here's Kansas City's most accurate forecast from Chief Meteorologist Gary Lezak.
Good evening. I know the kids are excited about the possible snow on Saturday, and the restaurants aren't so excited because restaurant week is this weekend, beginning this weekend anyway. And there are some issues for travel that will be impacting especially Friday night and Saturday, possibly into Sunday morning. All right, here's what's going on. We have a winter storm watch in effect for the Kansas City area. It will be upgraded to a warning if the data comes in showing it a little bit stronger. So look for that tomorrow. Flash flood watch to the south and east where some heavy rain is likely. On our timeline, tomorrow 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. most of the day, wet roads, periods of rain, possibly heavy, even a thunderstorm dropping to 33 degrees. It's already 32 in St. Joe, so we got to watch that closely. But a front's going to stall to our south, so not be a total cold blast. Tomorrow night temperatures will drop below 32 though, with slick conditions forming and freezing rain and sleet, and then sleet and snow Saturday, 3 to 6 inches of snow in our forecast. Current temperature 46 degrees, a northeast breeze at 9. As I said, to the north it is 32 degrees in St. Joe. It's 9 degrees in Bismarck. So a cold air mass is now sliding south. It's not blasting south like some of them do. 58 in Chanute and 32 in St. Joe. So quite a contrast. The ingredients are there for this significant storm to develop. We can see the storm down over Arizona, a little spin right in there starting to form. It's not the strongest storm by far, but it is strong enough to bring us some problems. And as you can see right now, we have a few light rain showers, a little band forming to our north and east. So a couple of light rain showers starting to develop just east of Lee Summit, but that's the very beginning of what's going to be a bigger storm. Tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, most of the rain south and east of Kansas City. Then notice we go into heavier downpours, thunderstorms, sleet, and freezing rain. I explained on Facebook Live the difference, so go to my Facebook page at Gary Lezak or the 41 Action News Facebook page and click on that, and you'll see the explanation. And snow to the north. That snow line is going to make it in northwest Missouri with a little bit of snow there. Then it looks like it's ending, but it isn't. As we go into Saturday morning, the bands of snow start developing. This is 5 a.m. Saturday, so the kids, tell them no snow until Saturday, all right? And then Saturday morning at 9, snow develops from Bethany all the way down to Lawrence, all the way down to Pleasanton and Ottawa and to Emporia. And this will be heavy snow. We're going into what's called the calm ahead of the storm, and it hangs out through noon or so, 11 a.m. Saturday, and then it will taper off late in the day on Saturday. And now we're going all the way to Sunday, and yes, the new data has not like the storm coming tomorrow, but a little bit of snow, maybe near the end of the Chiefs game, hopefully after the Chiefs game. Our computer models continue to show a pretty big variance. The European model is 10 inches of snow. The new European model will come in soon. Now, if it continues to show this, we'll talk, because these other numbers are lower, 2.7 inches to 4.1 inches. That's still a lot of snow here in Kansas City on top of what will be freezing rain and sleet. And this is the American model. Here's the European model. They're sort of lining up. The European model just has a little heavier snowfall. All right, here's our forecast for tomorrow. Dropping through the 30s. As soon as it drops to 32 or lower, there may be some icing. The roads will be treated. It's going to rain a lot, so it's going to wash away some of that salt. 100% chance of rain. Thunderstorms are possible. Friday night in the big town, changing to freezing rain and sleet. A quarter inch of ice at the most. I don't expect more than that, which means probably no power outages. As it changes to sleet, then to snow, 3 to 6 inches of snow widespread is in our forecast. 7-day forecast. 25 is the temperature for a high, but it'll be dropping down to around 20 or lower Saturday during the day. 27, my updated forecast out at Arrowhead, with a 50% chance of snow showers.
It's dropping. Every time I see you, it's dropping.
But the percentage and chances for snow showers keeps going up.
Wrong numbers, wrong way.
Well, hopefully the chances of a win are going up too.
Yeah, we'll see. Coming up, Chiefs on Texans, Texans on Chiefs. You know the drill by now, okay? And with the bye week, you're supposed to get healthy. A couple of injury concerns popping up with the Chiefs. We'll tell you about them next. Well, by now, you all know the gory defensive numbers from last season. The Chiefs finished 2018 31st in total defense. We'll be fine if there were like 100 NFL teams, but alas, there are only 32. This year, though, pull the covers down from your eyes as we take a look at Chiefs practice on Thursday. Since Week 11, the Chiefs have given up just 11.5 points per game, yielded just 7 touchdowns, too. Perhaps the NFL's best defense the back half of the season. Chiefs DC, though, unaware of these numbers.
One thing I always tell the guys is let's not worry about the S words until the end of the year, stats and standings. So we don't really focus on that very much. I told you all this before. When we were struggling, it was all about trusting our way to improvement.
The Texans probably know those stats and standings better. After all, it's the second time they've had to prep for the Chiefs this season. And get this, of the final 8 teams last season, the Chiefs are the only one to make it to the final 8 this season.
You can't let it be one play, 60-yard touchdown, stuff like that, because at the end of the day, you got to make them work and make them, scratch and crawl for it. And I think that's what they've been striving off of all year, is big play.
We didn't play, Chris Jones didn't play when we played him early in the season. I mean, he's back and he's a difference maker. He made the Pro Bowl this season. He's a great player.
Well, we think Chris Jones is back. The Chiefs DN joined Travis Kelce on the injury report today. Jones with a calf, Kelce with a knee. Texans J.J. Watt and Will Fuller also limited participants. Well, look out now, but the Roos were on a 4-game winning streak heading into the night, and we're 2-0, all alone atop the WAC standings. Tonight on the road to Texas, Rio Grande Valley. UTRGV to the layperson. Here we go, first half. Roos hop to it. Jordan Giles. Kansas City out to a 22-9 lead, but by the end of the half, that's the Vaqueros, Spanish for cowboy, dunking their way to the lead. Second half, Javen White pulls the Roos to within 2, but Leslie Varner II hits a 3. Always got to watch out for Leslie Varner II for the Vaqueros. Oh, play-by-play guy going nuts. UTRGV stops the Roos winning streak. All right, same schools, switch venues and genders. Roos and Vaqueros. At Swinney, Erica Mattingly, best player in the conference, crossing over, creating. Jada Mickens, Roos down 7, though. Glass cleaning time, Christina Soriano, all 6'5" of her, to AWOL Ajax. It's a 3-point game. Speaking of threes, the Soriano to Ajax combo strikes again, inside, outside. Roos hanging in there. One more time. Mattingly to Soriano. She's going to score herself this time. Roos come back from being down 14 at the half and win it. Those are your sports. Back after this.
All right, what's the latest on the winter storm?
Well, new data continues to roll in, and we're 100% chance of rain, then freezing rain and sleet tomorrow night. And I don't think that's going to be a power outage situation, but roads might get bad. And then Saturday is the 100% chance of snow, 3 to 6 inches of snow, and that'll be the biggest impact.
Do not forget to tune in to 41 Action News today, starting at 4:30 a.m. We'll keep you updated. Good night.